You see was a dog, a beagle, to be precise, with a love for samosas that rivaled his love for belly rubs. He lived in the bustling city of Ludhiana with his human, Mr. Kapoor, a man who believed that the only thing better than a good cup of chai was a good samosa to go with it. One fine Tuesday, disaster struck. Mr. Kapoor awoke to find his prized stash of samosas gone, vanished. The empty plate lay on the counter, mocking him with its emptiness. Mr. Kapoor was devastated. Those weren't just any samosas, they were special, made with his grandmother's secret recipe. Seeing his human's despair, Sherlock knew what he had to do. He may have been small, but he was a beagle on a mission. The hunt for the missing samosas was on. The aroma of 1,000 spices usually filled Mr. Kapoor's apartment, but today, the air hung heavy with the scent of mystery, and a hint of chili chutney. Sherlock sniffed the air, his tail wagging furiously. He circled the kitchen, his nose glued to the floor. The scent trail led him to the window where he found a single telltale clue, a tiny crumb of pastry, glistening with oil and hope. Sherlock barked excitedly. This was no ordinary case of midnight snacking. Someone had been in their home. Someone with a penchant for pilfered pastries. But who? Sherlock narrowed his eyes, his mind racing. Could it be Pinky, the mischievous parrot next door, known for his love of all things edible? Or perhaps it was Mr. Singh, the grumpy landlord who always complained about the smell of samosas wafting through the building. Sherlock decided to pay each of them a visit. He may not have spoken their language, but he spoke the universal language of suspicion, and he was fluent. First on Sherlock's list was Pinky. The parrot, perched upon his cage, greeted Sherlock with a squawk and a shower of birdseed. "Samosas! Delicious samosas!" he shrieked, confirming his love for the stolen goods but denying any involvement. Pinky, it seemed, was innocent. Next, Sherlock trotted down the hallway to Mr. Singh's apartment. The landlord, a man who seemed to permanently wear a frown, looked at Sherlock with suspicion. "What do you want, you mutt?" he grumbled. Sherlock sniffed at the air, but there was no trace of samosa in this apartment, only the smell of old newspapers and disappointment. His leads exhausted, Sherlock ventured out into the bustling streets of Ludhiana, his tail a furry metronome of determination. He weaved through crowds, navigated honking rickshaws, and bravely confronted a particularly menacing-looking cow. Finally, he reached his last hope, the samosa vendor at the end of the street. The vendor, a nervous man with a handlebar mustache, looked terrified at the sight of the detective dog. Sherlock, nose twitching, caught a whiff of a familiar scent emanating from behind the vendor's stall. It was faint but unmistakable, the aroma of his beloved samosas. He barked, a sharp demanding bark that sent the vendor's stack of newspapers tumbling to the ground. And there, amidst the scattered headlines, lay a trail of crumbs leading to